On this week's episode of the Pick Through podcast, we predict what will happen in this weekend's Tuscan Grand Prix. Hello and welcome to the Pit Crew podcast. My name's Ed. This is my co-host Dylan.
Hello.
And this weekend is the Tuscan Grand Prix at the Italian circuit Mugello. F1 has never raced there before. We've tested there, but never raced. Quite a twisty, turny track, as you can see from the track map on your screen. It's called the Tuscan Grand Prix, as like with other Grand Prix this year that have been held in the same country, they give it a different name to avoid confusion on things like trophies. But we've never raced there before. Looks like it could hold some, could have some good racing. Lots of possible overtaking opportunities. Quite a fast track. Interesting things. Ferrari have a special livery for this weekend.
As it is the 1000th race.
It is their 1000th
F1.
race in F1. Yeah, I think that's the most of any teams. Am I right in saying that, Dylan?
Yes, they are the oldest. I think they've been there from pretty much the start. I'm not 100% sure. I think Alfa Romeo's been there for a while, but I don't think they've been as long.
Yeah, I think the team name Alfa Romeo might have wavered because remember they were Sauber and all of that.
Oh yeah.
But it looks like it could have some good racing there. And a little interesting fact, you see, straight away, less than 2 minutes in, you're getting a little Ed's interesting fact already. And by the way, you can expect some graphics to come with Ed's interesting fact soon. But Ed's interesting fact for this week, Romain Grosjean, of all people, held the track unofficial lap record for this track when he tested there in 2012. I think F1 officially tested there around then, or was it at some point around then, or he tested with his team.
Yeah.
It must have been a private test for a team, but he held the unofficial lap record before we came and did practice today, as this is being recorded Friday evening. Obviously, that will have been smashed by now, not because he was set a bad lap record then, but just because these cars are so much faster than 8 years ago. Now, this race is slightly different, isn't it, Dylan, to other races?
Yes, because this is the first time since last season they are allowing fans to come. And is it just for Mugello? I think it might be from now on, isn't it?
I don't know. I think it might depend on the rules of countries, because obviously different countries have different rules.
Yes.
But I think they're allowing a smaller number of fans in because of social distancing and all that. Is that right?
Yes, it's like 3,000, I think you said last episode.
3,000 when we were talking about this in a couple podcasts ago, if you're a dedicated listener to the Pit Crew podcast. And now, if you've been following F1 news, or if you haven't, you may not or may know about some driver transfer news that's come out this week. So Sergio Perez, Racing Point driver, been there for many years in its former name as
Force India.
Force India. Its name escaped me there. But he left, or I don't think he chose to. I think he was perfectly happy there. I think the team kindly asked him to leave. I think there was a quote that said something like he didn't know until the night before it was announced to the public, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was quite a sudden announcement. And then, if you don't know, they're becoming Aston Martin. That's their new name for 2021. And now Sebastian Vettel, who was out of the seat at Ferrari, pretty much, I think it was something a couple hours after the Sergio Perez news was announced. It went straight into Vettel driving for them. Dylan, do you have any ideas of where Sergio Perez's future could lie? Heard any rumours?
I did hear that Günther Steiner said that he could be one. Sergio could come to the house, but I don't know who would leave. Maybe Grosjean, because he's not really performing.
Yeah, I think you and I both agree that both drivers aren't. I don't like both. I just don't think they're good drivers, and don't get me wrong, they couldn't do what they could do, but I just don't think they're Formula One material. I think if Haas wants to succeed, they need other drivers, and Perez, very experienced driver. I think he had a run at McLaren for a year when he was quite a young driver. Yeah, 2013 or something, a while ago.
I think we've had this discussion before.
Yeah, we probably have, knowing us. But what do you think? I heard a rumor. I think David Croft. I think his full name's David Croft. Crofty, as F1 fans know, the commentator. He thinks that Sergio Perez could replace Alex Albon at Red Bull.
Nah.
Now, I hope not because I like Alex Albon, really respectable guy. But do you think that's likely, Dylan?
I mean, Alex is not performing very well, but I think they are not, uh, what's the word, developing his car as much as
Yeah, I
Verstappen
think
and
it's
not giving as
different.
much praise
I think it's
as,
different
yeah.
to the Gasly situation. Would you say agree? You agree with me
Well,
on that?
yeah, I don't think they're as friendly as to Alex as they are to Max.
Yeah,
As you've
I don't.
seen,
I
if you've
don't
watched
think.
Drive to Survive, then you'll know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they want to let him go. I think it's more likely that Kvyat goes from AlphaTauri, nearly said Toro Rosso there, and Perez replaces him there. I think that's a good fit.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's
But
not a
where would
bad fit.
Kvyat go? Back to
I
Red
don't
Bull?
think. No, I don't think he's
After
Formula One
4 years.
material. I just think he'd go from Formula One, completely. But anyway, we need to predict what we think is going to happen in this weekend's Grand Prix. First off, qualifying. Now, Dylan, what are your predictions?
I've predicted Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen. I did cheat and looked at the practice, and Bottas looked quite strong, as
Yeah,
usual, the Mercedes out there.
yeah,
Although Leclerc did get third in practice one, which was
y-
impressive, even
yeah, but I think
considering how poorly, yeah,
practice
Ferrari
two
have
he
been.
did a lot worse, didn't he?
Yeah, he was 10th.
Maybe it
I
was
mean, it's better than before.
little bit of a fluke, a little bit of a fluke maybe. Um, but I've predicted, as you can see on the screen, Hamilton, Bottas, Norris. Um,
Norris?
Obviously, I think
Interesting.
Verstappen's going to get P3. Norris only because I'm a McLaren fan. I like Norris out of the two drivers, and I wanted to make a wild card prediction because I'm not very good at predicting things anyway. I may as well continue doing that.
Guessing.
So I'm just gonna guess Norris P3. I mean, it'd be nice to see another McLaren podium. Why not? Get those more frequent. I'd certainly be happy. I don't know where McLaren are in the constructors championship right now, but
I'll have a quick look.
I think they are quite high up. They are, yes, they're third. Third. Racing Point are fourth. That Ferrari are only sixth. Sad thing to see, but um, you know, we know how Ferrari's performance has been this year.
Yeah.
We don't need to touch on that again. Um, Now, Dylan, what are your predictions for the race this weekend?
My,
The
pre-
race podium.
my prediction is Hamilton, Bottas, Albon. I mean,
So, you,
I'm going like you, just having a wild guess for third and
so
hoping it will
what do you
happen.
think could happen to Verstappen? Engine failure
Verstappen,
like last weekend?
he might just drop out of the top three. I mean, I think he'll probably come on the podium, but I just wanted Albon to hopefully get there.
Yeah,
Because
it's
he hasn't got
possibility.
one yet. Nearly has
I
twice.
No, I want one. I want him to get one, especially as the McLaren drivers have both got one. He definitely deserves it, especially in a car that's got so much potential, or it seems to have so much potential that Verstappen's bringing out in it. My predictions are Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris. Unlike Dylan, I think that Hamilton, Verstappen is going to get P2, and Bottas will drop out the top three. I know it's unlikely, but with this engine mode rule where you have to run. Oh God, that's hard to say. Run one engine mode for the whole weekend. I think Bottas struggled with that last weekend. It's quite hot in Tuscany in Italy at Mugello, so Bottas was struggling with that. He had a really bad opening lap at Monza, so I think he could drop out, get pit by or Norris. I think he's going to maintain position. Could have a good opening lap if Bottas has a similar fate to last weekend, but yeah, I think Verstappen will get P2 and hopefully Norris P3, continuing with my weird and wacky predictions. But back to other predictions for the race. Who do you think will get fastest lap this weekend?
I'll go with the race winner,
So
I think.
Hamilton for both of
Hamilton.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hamilton probably going to get the race win, probably going to win the championship. He got 89 race wins, not far until he beat Schumacher's record of
Another
91.
two
Another
to draw.
two before he equalises, yeah. So it's an incredible statistic to have 91. How many Grand Prix have there been? Just over 1,000, isn't it?
It was the 1000th one in China last year.
So I think that's about 1,000. Let's call it 1,020. So if he's won 89, 89 out of 1,020.
That's a lot.
Percentage-wise, that's about 8.7%. If they've had 1,020 Grand Prix or thereabouts, that's 8.7% of all the Grand Prix in existence. Which, considering
Doesn't
Grand
sound
Prix,
a lot.
it doesn't sound a lot, but
But it
considering
is.
how long Hamilton's been in F1, that's an incredible statistic, and I don't even want to even calculate the amount that he's won with Mercedes over the last 6 years in the turbo hybrid era. But what do you think will be the biggest disappointment of the race? I'll let you go first and take the obvious one.
Williams not getting points again.
It wasn't the obvious one.
What were you
The
thinking?
obvious one I was going to go for. Ferrari not performing well in front of fans at their 1,000th Grand Prix. That's what I was thinking would be a big disappointment. But yeah, Williams not scoring points. They've got, obviously, Claire Williams stepped down from her role as team principal last weekend. So they've got
who is it? Steve?
I can't remember his name. He's
Steve
standing
Alonso?
in at the moment. He's standing in until they find a permanent one. But it'd be nice to see Williams do well, get better. They had a really really good Grand Prix last weekend, 11th and 14th, which is good for them. Do you know who it is, Dylan?
Simon Roberts.
Simon Roberts. That's it. That's who's standing in for Williams as team principal at the moment. But yeah, I think Williams not scoring points could be another disappointment along with Ferrari. What do you think will be the biggest surprise of the weekend, Dylan?
Maybe.
Put you on the spot here.
I'm trying to think.
Let's
say Williams getting a point. Let's just say the obvious.
Ferrari doing well. That would be quite surprising, and it'd be nice to see. Albon podium. There's a couple contenders. I'm probably going to go for Williams getting point.
Maybe
Haas agree with me there.
Points.
Haas getting points. They've got 1 point in the standings so far, down in ninth. Just a couple of options we both agreed on there. And finally, this is quite a lot harder to predict as we've never raced here before. Will there be a safety car?
I think it's quite narrow, as I've watched a few onboards from MotoGP.
Yeah, it does look quite narrow.
I think there could be one. Yes,
I'm going to go yes. Yeah, I'm going to go yes. I'm going to agree with you there. It's quite hard to predict compared to other circuits because we haven't raced here before, so we don't know the likelihood compared to circuits like Monza and places where I think we even got the safety car predictions wrong there. But ignore that. But I think that brings us to the end of this week's episode of the Pit Crew podcast. We hope you enjoy watching all the action unfold at the Tuscan Grand Prix. We will be back.
Ferrari.
Pardon?
The fully 1,000th Ferrari race.
Yeah, the 1,000th Ferrari race as well. It's got a ridiculous title, this Grand Prix. Dylan, I'll let you do the honours of reading it out if you could try and find it.
Hang on. I had it a minute ago.
Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please.
Formula
there you go.
1 Pirelli Gran Premio della Toscana Ferrari 1000 2020.
Formula 1 Pirelli Gran Premio della Toscana Ferrari 1000 2020. I think that's how it
racist.
Edit that out. Anyway, we hope you enjoy the week watching all the action unfold at this weekend's Grand Prix, and we will see you for the race report. Probably Sunday evening, just after the race. But until then, I've been Ed.
And I've been Dylan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.